Rick Doblin.
Hello, Sarah.
All right, Rick Doblin. True or not true, you had and raised a wolf?
Very true. Very true. One of the most transformative experiences of my life. It goes back to my mother, who didn't want us to have a dog or any pets. So then I'm turning 21, and I was thinking, it's time, maybe I should get a dog. And then this friend of mine saw an ad in the paper, and she'd seen this ad that was from the Humane Society, had wolf cubs that they were looking for homes for. When my friend showed me this, I thought, wolf cubs for sale. Very interesting. And I thought, I'm just a shy little 21-year-old, and I'm kind of scared of the world a bit, and I could use more confidence. And also I was kind of thinking that I needed to throw off all of these kind of civilization ideas. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to get to the core self without all of the compromises of civilization and all. And so I thought, okay, if I can ask for the most dominant of the litter, maybe I would pick up some of this confidence from being the apex predator. Then I got him when he was 8 weeks old. And this little tiny wolf. It was fantastic. And we would wrestle. He would run around, and then he would try to leap at me and leap to my head and then push me down. I'm trying to flip him over so that he lands on his back, and he's trying to get me, push me over, but also to get my wrist in his jaws. He would squeeze me, but he would never hurt me. An incredible situation of laughing and playing and wrestling. And I've learned so much lessons from him. When the rare cases that I would take him around on a leash, I would follow him, and I would see how he traveled through the world. And the way that he would travel was that he just had abundant energy. There's a little hill, there's a bigger hill. None of this is like a problem. He just goes over it instead of around it. So this idea of going direct, even if it seems like it might be more work. And so it's when I walk also through the world. Whenever I kind of walk off the beaten path to go onto the grass or through the woods or something to get to where I'm going more direct, I think of the wolf. And I felt that also wolves are like drugs, in the sense that drugs are demonized. We load our fears onto drugs, and drugs are terrible things. And the same is true for Jews or for minorities. Most people think that wolves are dangerous and that they attack people and kill people, but they don't. Wolves almost never kill people, only if it's rabbit. They really don't do that. So I could take him cruising through the woods without a leash.
So I have heard on good authority that it wasn't just a leash that you were without on these walks.
So occasionally I would run around nude, and I actually got to know these woods so well. I could cruise naked with the wolf, running through the woods naked at night under the moonlight.
If I had to, and I will, write an erotic novel about you, this is going to feature prominently.
Well, there was one point where he was howling, and this was in the middle of the night. And I thought it was just super beautiful. So I went up to the sun deck, and so I just started howling with him. So there's a way in which he helped me get comfortable with sort of the primal roar.
I'm curious how you stay wild.
How I stay wild. Yeah, well, I am worried about this idea of becoming too tame, as we get appreciated, as psychedelics get mainstream. Am I losing my edge? Is there something wrong here? See your nice little cat.
She's really shown me how to be aggressive, but also more like passive aggressive. So she's taught me lessons as well.
So after the woods got developed, and after I realized I should find him another place to live. And it turned out then that there was a wolf sanctuary outside of Washington, D.C. that had a female wolf that had been captured wild that needed a mate. So I finally felt like he had an obligation. I couldn't just have him be an idyllic wolf going off to retirement with a female wolf, but he had to serve wolfdom. He had to help. And the fellow outside Washington said sometimes he would take the wolves to see members of Congress.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Well, so I said, okay, that's where he'll go.
Yeah, he really is your alter ego, dealing with government officials, being extremely messy, Up at all hours of the night.
Yeah, unable to be house trained. Definitely wild and free, but loving and friendly. So it's 2 years after I'd given him up, and he was 4 years old. And I went to visit with him, and I go and just pet my wolf, pet Phaedrus, but he doesn't welcome my touch. And I said, all right, I better reassert my dominance. So I'm going to stare at my wolf and really intimidate him. I'm doing that for a while, and then his eyes glaze up like he's looking past me. And I'm a little bit nervous, like this isn't going so well. And then there's this ripple that goes through his body. And then he leaps at me. Now he's bigger. He's 4 years old. He's got bigger jaws. Everything's bigger. He's coming at my head. And it's like the way we used to wrestle in the past. I'm trying to push him. He's like right there, looking at me right in the eye. He squeezes my wrist enough to say I could break your wrist if I wanted to, but he doesn't. He doesn't break the skin. He doesn't even hurt me. That was the last time I was ever safe to be with him. And it was so sad. And I was crying, and I was like, this is the end of an era. So later that evening, I called my parents. This was one of the most unforgettable things that my father has ever said to me. And so I'm telling him about how Phaedrus has challenged me for dominance, and I can never be with him. And he says, what's the problem? You did it to me.
I thought you were going to say your parents were like, we told you not to get a dog.